What's up, y'all? Hey,
Hey, listen. Brittany been going weeks straight with no punctuality errors, and here I come messing up the whole vibe. Listen, I apologize. I was on the line
you
with some
good?
young people, and it was awesome. So sorry about that. But hello, world.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I appreciate you for tuning in.
Yeah,
For real, for real.
all love.
So, everybody, welcome to Be Great, Good to Great. We're highlighting people in their different careers. Man, I met Kobe 10 years ago now.
Just about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right when I
Ooh, I'm
started
old.
SIU in 2010. Actually, Kobe was literally like one of my first mentors when I got down there. I was just talking to my mom about you,
Wow.
saying how, like, right when I got to campus, right, as a freshman, you feel like, it's like you got to learn, you got to see what's going on. And I was like, man, look at this beautiful woman. She's like conquering the campus, doing everything I saw at
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
RSO fair. Like, I saw you doing Greek stuff. I'm like, man, like, I want to be just like her. And then right when I walked on, I
That's
think you
love.
were helping even with like moving in and like other
Mm-hmm.
other things. And then I joined NAACP, and I
Yeah.
think you were the vice president at the time, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, I want to do this too. And you were like, yeah, you can. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awesome. You were such like you. I mean, you were always a leader since I met you, right? So I was like, man, this is. I don't know. You've definitely changed the trajectory of myself, Nate, Michael, and people who I'm sure a lot more people too, but changed the trajectory of our lives. I mean, ever since we met you. So thank you for that.
Wow. Well, I'm totally humbled. I'm honored. And just to see you all just sprout and all the amazing things you guys are doing, it's just a testament to, putting in that hard work. Y'all used to be in the BIB office getting it in. You know what I mean? Working, coming up with various ideas and strategies on ways to congregate the campus and just, make you all's transitioning into what it is you all wanted to do great. So it was a awesome opportunity to be a part of, for sure.
So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell people, where you're from and what you're doing now.
Sure. Well, again, I want to say shout out to this great house. This is an amazing platform. For people to expand and learn. I think oftentimes we don't know who we have right here in our back pocket. So again,
Mm.
Brittany, I appreciate you. My name is Colby Chapman. I'm from the city of Harvey, right here in Illinois. Met Brittany, as she mentioned, down at SIU Carbondale, where several lifelong friendships started. Uh, was down in Carbondale from 2005 to 2009. I had earned my Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Forensic Science. Decided to stay in for grad school, and I earned my Master's of Education in Program Leadership. Right after, like most hungry recent graduates, I, was on the search for a career path. I'd actually gotten into retail. I started interning for Walmart. I was at that one out in Murfreesboro in that
Hmm.
backyard, and did that for a summer. Afterwards, I was offered an opportunity to move out to a little town called Roscoe, Illinois, and work as the assistant store manager for Walmart out in Rockford. It was an amazing opportunity, and shout out to those like Matthew Simpson who opened up his doors for me to lay my head when I didn't know anything about Rockford, what a Rockford was, nothing. So shout out to Matt, as a part of this journey. Um, I was there for about 2.5 years or so. And right about the top of 2012, I would say, or no, 2013, my grandmother fell short. She started to get ill. So I moved back home, to help out family, help out my mom. And then I started working as an assistant store manager for the Walmart over in Matson. It was great. Retail is a hustle and bustle, but I tell you, working for a company like Walmart really, really was a footprint on the leadership and really just kind of expanded my vision to a whole lot of things that you don't really take into account when you just walk into a store.
Hmm.
So I learned so much being there. Um, so left there, I always knew I wanted to, or I thought I wanted to go into like criminal justice. Well, like I said, I went into criminal justice, but thought I really wanted to have the angle of like, going into becoming a police officer, or FBI agent or something of the sort. But working through my master's program and even in the retail environment, the idea of mentorship was just so key. Program leadership, advisement, working in collaboration and partnership with people. And so I knew that, although I wanted to do those things, I kind of wanted to change what the environment looked like for young people, and especially young people of color. And so I got into education and been in education now 7 years, and working with young people ages 15 to 21 who are over age and undercredited, but looking to pursue their high school diploma. And so it's been a dynamic journey. And, everybody along the way, it's just been a great process. And kind of all these worlds kind of collide, if you will. You can pull on a little bit of each one. So that's a little bit.
This is also meant to be interactive, guys. So if you guys are tuning in and you have any questions for Colby, please just put them in the comments. And then I'll ask them as well. So I know you just talked about what you do with kids right now with education, but you also have Penny Up, right? And you also ran for office. I mean, I'm sure among a plethora of other things. So can you talk about Penny Up?
Yeah, so started Penny Up, guys, in 2014. We wanted to host a school prom. And so we're located at 1257 West 111th Street, across the street from the Best Fries on the south side at Home of the Hoagie, period. So I was in Home of the Hoagie, guys, and literally it was some change all over the ground. And, I'm no stranger to anybody. So I began to ask people, like, why nobody picked up the pennies? And everybody just kind of like laughed, like, girl, don't nobody pick up pennies? And I walked out of there with this thought, like, well, what if people did pick up the pennies, knowing that we needed funding for the prom? Like, that was the ultimate goal, to host this prom. So started, kind of just talking about it, speaking with my mom about it. She actually named Penny Up, because she was like, when you see a penny, you pick it up. That's how you penny up. I had called her, like, right after leaving. She named it, went back to the school, told the kids, like, look, we don't have a ton of money, but if we go out here and we pick up the pennies, like, people would just latch on because we're picking up pennies. This is the most minute thing, but it's so powerful at the same time. So young people was with it. We was out on the streets of Chicago. We picked up 230,000 pennies in addition to the in-kind donations that we received at the school. Our corporate headquarters called in. They had a ton of dresses and, different things for young men to wear. And so from there, I was just like, wow, like, who knew a penny could do all of that, right? Because when you look at a penny, you don't think much of it. It's just like, just, it's 1 cent. But how powerful that 1 cent is, bound up over and over and over again. And so we started doing a variety of workshops and just different things that would bring young people together, give them an outlet to express themselves and discuss financial literacy. But not so much always in the monetary aspect, but financial literacy and tips, resources, and opportunities that are in our back pocket that we very well don't know, just because we're not abreast to it. We just don't have that understanding. And so we developed this 12-week program, which is now a 6-week program, where we're going to be meeting with students twice a week instead of once a week, where we discuss financial literacy, job readiness, entrepreneurship, and a host of things. And the idea is to really allow students to proactively provoke their passion. We want to find out what your niche is. We want to, enhance or enlighten you to an opportunity, a mentorship, somebody that's going to put you in position, because oftentimes we don't have the blueprint. And that's kind of where Penny Up is today. We're in schools, but, with everything going on. But I would like to say, any businesses out there, you looking for a young person, my focus around employment is nothing wrong with McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with Burger King. But I always give this example, but there's also Umami Burger, and there's also Al Shabal, which is a totally different environment. So if you're a student and you get to trade those environments, it opens you up. Because the travel to get there is different. The type of people you're working with are different. The benefits are different, right? It's just a different aura. So I'm looking for those, creative businesses that want to be socially responsible. Because we talk about it, but really being socially responsible and reach back into the community and pick a young person up that very well would not have the opportunity if you don't push it forward to give it to them. So the election. The election was an amazing, amazing opportunity, Brittany. And again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. The election was an amazing opportunity. It really created for me a wave in civic engagement. I sought out on that journey maybe early 2017 because I knew that an election was coming before us in 2019. I had been doing my research. I'm from Harvey, born and raised. Literally, like, grew up here, still here. And so it was very endearing to me at the home front, you know, to do something. The state of Harvey right now is in a very dilapidated state. It's totally like it's been abandoned. It's mirrors Gary, Indiana, and pretty much every disenfranchised community you know of. But because it's only a 6.2 square mile radius, you can really, really see the damage and what's going on. And so as I was doing my research, Harvey was founded back in 1891. I was looking at the second ward where, you know, you have to reside in the ward that you're running for. I saw that it was the largest ward and two, that no woman had ever ran for. And so, you know, I believe, you know, on the brink of 2019, 2018, 2019, women were really, really stepping up in major ways in big positions to change the game or the narrative in politics. And so it was really awesome, you know, to be the first. But it wasn't about that. It was like, here's the first chance for diversity. Here's the first chance for doing something different. Here's the first chance. You know, it's not a man or a woman thing, but this is the real thing that, you know, women too can step up just like men and, you know, hold the regime and be powerful and do the right thing. And so, you know, in doing my research and doing all of that, I set forth on, and shout out to Ryan Vickers. I remember Nate had put me in tune with him, and, you know, he was just giving me a lot of insight in everybody. I mean, SIU came out in ways that I can't even fathom. The support was so real. And I think, you know, furthermore, the election gave people an opportunity to really hone in on their own local civics and be a part of what's going on in their community, and, you know, how these things, you know, affect your everyday livelihood. Like, you may not meet the president, but you can likely go to your city hall and meet your mayor and get the roads reconstructed and or get the light bulb changed in the pole on the street. You know, the simple things that, you know, we kind of don't think about. So, you know, we set forth, we put a plan together, me and friends and family. We got out here. We needed 31 signatures to get on the ballot. And we got 139 or so signatures, you know, that way more than that, but valid signatures of registered voters. We got on the ballot. I was objected in the primary election, or what's called the consolidated primary election. My objector withdrew his objection. They said I didn't live here. You know, all the things that they pull out and say against you to try to be politically correct. But of course, we pushed those things to the side. We got through that phase. And we did really well in the primary election. We won the primary election. Wow. Went on into the general election, and we fell short by about 69 votes or so. And so the opportunity, I encourage, if you're thinking about going into politics, if you're thinking about get involved in your local level. It's very important to see, you know, the fiscal responsibility, what people should be doing in their communities, how it goes, what the processes and procedures are. And that totally enlightened me. I'm not a politician. I'm just a community shero that, you know, work on behalf of the kids. But when you guys have an opportunity, it's not even about being an opportunist. It's just about going forth. I'm tired of my community looking like this. I'm going to step up and do something about it. Nothing beats a try but a fail. So, you know, the election was great. Gained a ton of meaningful partnerships around it. Learned about my community, learned about my neighbors, you know, and what this community was, you know, when it was first founded back in the 1800s, and, you know, what it was all about. So it was very, very meaningful. Brought people together in more ways than one. So I'm forever excited about it, and never know, you know, what the future holds. So.
You got tons of love. People are saying, Marcel was like, Colby, you are awesome. Keep grinding. Whenever you want to connect with the youth again, let me know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Curls and Pearls said, Kobe, you're the bomb. And then
Hey,
Wit Berry said, you are so dynamic.
those my girls. All the designers, you know what I mean? Like, again, you guys are every Tatiana, Whitney, you know, just everybody. Stelly, he dropped some bars yesterday. That was awesome. He's come out to, you know, come speak with students. You guys too, like, you know, when school is back up and going, I would love if you you know, you want to connect with the youth, you want to share you know, your story, lay the
Would
foundation
love
for
to.
them. Please, yeah.
Because that's what you're talking about, right? And I think that's a big thing that you talked about. We were talking about this earlier, right? Having a
Yeah.
blueprint for kids. I think
Yeah.
a lot of times, even in high school for me, I did business programs and I was fortunate. But even when I got to college, right? If you do marketing, you got to go into a marketing position. Finance, you got to
Yeah.
work for a bank. You don't know the different type of career opportunities you can
Yeah.
do, or even side hustles you can start while you're still in high school to
Definitely.
prepare you for later on. Like you're saying, right? If somebody's like, man, I love art, you can do graphic design. You can put this is a positive message on this shirt and sell it for $20. Like, you know, like
Easy.
you can do things now. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait until you get to college. You can do programs or do programs to figure out, oh, I like this, but like, oh, I want to do
Yeah.
it for a career though, you know?
Right.
So that's great. And even Cordero said, and he was on here for
Yeah.
one of the lives, and he was saying like the best thing you can do, especially if you live in Chicago, is to travel outside of Chicago so you can see
Man.
something different.
Yes. Yes.
And for kids, I think that's a big thing. When you see something different, your mind starts to expand, or you're around somebody else that's like, wait, they think this way? This is not how I think or how my community
Right.
thinks. Wow, like, okay,
Yeah.
I get
It's
it.
real. I totally agree with you a gazillion percent on all of that, Brittany. Is stepping out your comfort zone, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being open to change and just, you know, and then if you vibing with it, if you feel that energy, then, you know, go for it.
Yep. And so we got a question from my
Yeah.
mom. She's Tony the Talker. She says, have you considered social entrepreneurship as an extension of your political advocacy?
Ooh, I like that, Tony the Talker. You know what? Had not thought about it, but you know, in a lot of ways, I'm looking to bridge the gap of corporate social responsibility. And what I mean by that, real quick, guys, is you can walk into your local Walgreens. They do the Red Nose campaign, and those funds may be given to St. Jude, which is awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a small group called the Latanya and the Youth of Inglewood, or you know, various youth bills, smaller organizations, unsung heroes that people don't know about, that if more small businesses and just companies were more aware, we could certainly assist and, you know, do some miraculous things. But as far as social entrepreneurship, you know, honestly, I'm open. I'm open. You know, that's not something that's technically, you know, I thought about, but in some way, shape, or form, I feel like I've kind of been a part of that to some effect. But DM me if you have some insight about that and ways that you know, I can intertwine that within what we're doing. I would love that. I'm totally open to the feedback. You know, sometimes people see things or know about things once again that you just don't know. It
Mm-hmm.
takes that bridge building experience. So please DM me.
Mm-hmm. And that's at sense of is it sense of change, right?
Yeah, sense of change or Penny Up.
Okay.
I went straight to Penny Up and then hit the live from there, Brittany. But yeah, either platform, it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. And then Miss Brooks to you said amazing work Kobe is doing out in Chicago, by the way, too.
Real quick, that young lady that just tapped in, that's my cousin Yumi, but she has an awesome program that she does. It's called Graduates to Guns. It's her and a young lady by the name of Celeste Suleiman, and they're out of Excel Academy of Inglewood, which is on 7141 South Morgan. I'm doing all the promo, huh, Brittany? I apologize.
I love it. I love it.
But Graduates to Guns really it uplifts young people who are taking the next step and passing the torch and on to their post-secondary endeavors. And so they do a march throughout Inglewood dedicated to those students to pay homage. And at the end, there's a rally and a celebration, a huge barbecue. And unfortunately, while we won't be able to do it this year with everything that's going on, you know, they have plans to pick something up possibly this fall. And so this another, once again, things that people don't know about, like people should know about graduates over guns. And, you know, people walking the streets of Inglewood, over 500 graduates walking the streets of Inglewood, where we hear so many other things, you know, a totally different narrative along those same streets. And so it's important that those people, we ring the alarm on those type of people.
And you also, I think, what is it? Not I think, but like back, even when I started at SIU and prior, like you always had this like philanthropic like trait in you, right? This quality of like always giving back. And for me, I didn't start to see that a ton from young people until I got to college. So whenever I think about giving back, right, it's either like your time or your money. But when you think about giving back and being philanthropic, what does that like mean to you?
You know, it really goes along with, you know, our motto, change the world, it just makes sense. 1 cent or 100 cents, it's not about giving a lot, it's just about giving. And so I think with that concept, you know, we have to know how to approach philanthropy. Philanthropy is not all based around money. Philanthropy is smiling at somebody. Philanthropy is giving someone a hug. Philanthropy is telling someone something that they may have not known had you not told them. Philanthropy is telling someone to tie their shoe. Philanthropy is in a lot of ways is tailored towards altruism, where you have a care and concern for the social welfare of others. You just want people to be good. And that's truly the essence of philanthropy. And so philanthropy is my everyday walk, my talk. You know, if anybody know me, you know, you're around me, like we vibing. It's a vibe, right? I don't want to have a bad day because God woke us up another day. He started us on our way. So let's keep that vibration going, keep that vibration high. And when you attract great things, other positive things just have a domino effect to radiate with that. So, you know, and it's all about the people you're around, you know. My friends always say I'm so lame for this caption, but I tell them, giddy up to your goals and make sure the birds you flock with go together. Because like, it's important. You can't flock with those same birds. They just got to be the right ones that fly high. That's all.
How do people keep themselves in a positive network if they're around a negative environment?
Yeah. And I think it's all about the want. And sometimes you have to seek those things out. You know, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. So if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the smartest person out of your group of friends, now I'm not to say that you're in the wrong room or that these aren't the right group of friends, but you certainly have to have some versatility to it. You know, I'm no stranger to anybody, black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, short, tall, fat, round. It don't matter. You know what I mean? And that's how you have to look at people. People are humans. You have to look for people, and everybody has something that they can give. And that's just like philanthropy. Everybody has a talent, something that's untapped, or something that they can pour into the next person that they very well, you know, sometimes we're not looking to receive anything, but just through conversation, networking, even though, you know, a lot of times it's in a formal setting, you walk away feeling like a different vibe. You ever been to a networking event and you meet that right person for that right thing that you've been working on that really don't nobody really know too much about, but you already know you know it in here. And so you meet this person that can kind of put you in position. And so that type of connection is powerful for a person, because sometimes we're afraid to connect. Sometimes we don't think that we've even reached that plateau. I always know you've reached, you know, a great plateau about yourself. Feel good about yourself, because nonverbal communication is real. And people know when, like, oh, they're not feeling their best self, or they're not, you know, they're not feeling good about themselves. And so if you're not feeling that type of energy, then 9 times out of 10, the next person won't receive you in a different way. So, but, you know, going back to the core of the question with philanthropy, it's just about doing good, you know, doing good when no one's watching, and, you know, not looking for anything back in return, you know, reaping and sowing, and just sow those seeds of greatness, you know, to everything around you, not because it's Christmas, and so not because it's, you know, back to school, we're going to do the haircuts. I'm down for all of that, have done all those things, right? But I try to walk in my everyday in philanthropy, just being a good person towards people.
What has been keeping you sane then, or giving you all this positivity during quarantine? There's so much negative being thrown at us right now in the
Yeah,
world, right? A lot of people are complaining, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of,
yeah.
changes that are happening that are affecting our communities every day. But how do you stay positive and have that, like, still that drive in you during these times?
I got a network of people in a circle around me so cold. Shout out to all my girls, like, and my family. They keep me afloat. We on the phone constantly, probably FaceTime all day, every day. All of them. Y'all know who y'all are, B&B, and everybody else, Vail, and all my girls. Like we're constantly on the phone, and we're throwing ideas back and forth, and we're figuring out, that look good, that don't look good. Yeah, post that, don't post that, move that over there. So it's insightful when you have a village of people around you that are hungry for, their own passions, but, everything kind of flows over. You guys can bounce ideas off of each other. It's a sisterhood, you know what I mean? And so that's been keeping me afloat, learning about different things that I could do to assist the young people. Every day I'm making phone calls. I'm on the Zooms. I'm on Google Hangouts. We just got done with a Google Hangout. Shout out to Miss Shannon Lane. That's my girl.
Yes.
With the YAP program. But figuring out these inventive ways that we can stay connected to youth and, really keep the camaraderie flowing. I'm enjoying being at home with my younger brother. He's out of school for the rest of the school year. So hanging with him and really just chilling, hanging with the family. We staying our 6 feet. We got our masks, so don't worry, but I'm keeping it cool. But yeah, that's it. And of course, social media and just figuring out, ways to enhance the brand and how I can go about connecting with people. Yeah. So.
And how do you think too? And I know right now you're working with kids in school, so like most kids haven't been like in a classroom, right? I mean,
Right.
for forever,
Tuesday,
for a
April
long
17th.
time.
Yeah, since the
That's a
17th.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not sure, but I know some kids have like online learning, right? If they have
Yeah.
access to like computers and everything else. How is that gonna like change the environment when kids come back to school?
Yeah. So, and even for some students, like, at our school, they've given out 100,000 laptops on behalf of CPS, but I work in an Options Network, and Options Network are made up of a variety of schools that kind of have a different set of terms. We're an accelerated model. So like I said, students graduate 2.5 years versus 4. So like for our network of students and reacclimating them back into the environment, it's going to be a little tough because norms are out of place. That routine is out of place. But I would say that many of the students that I'm talking to, they're very encouraged and wanted to complete, their daily tasks and wanted to hop on Naviance, which is like a comprehensive post-secondary platform where it pretty much gives you an idea of like what you'll be good in to study in college or what to do after high school. They've been very engaged on these platforms. And I mean, by no stretch, it's a follow-up. They got the Facebook, the Instagrams, so they're used to maneuvering these digital platforms a lot anyway. But yeah, I think, especially my seniors, because that's who I really work closely with, I just thinking about ways to continue to encourage them to stay on their pathways, their post-secondary pathways, because that check and balance system of actually being physically in the building and calling a student to my office or mandating them to, hey, you're going to stay after school today. It's a little different in the virtual world. So, I've been just trying to keep a steady flow and, tap into students when I know it's the best time for them. And kind of really hearing from them what are the best ways that I should go about, teaching or that you're being educated. So it's been, something that kind of is a back and forth. We're working it out on a daily as we go. So.
And what can people like me or like, in our peer group do to help you, right? How can we help kids at this time when we don't know what to do, right? A lot of people are just sitting in the house and they're like, cool, like we know a lot of stuff about our careers, or maybe we're in a comfortable position, but like what can we do to give back today?
And you guys, honestly, I really feel like it's just as simple as emails and text messages. Because if I could connect someone via this, this live broadcast, you, Brittany, and many others with students who aspire, to one day work for a renowned consulting firm and do the things that you're doing, be an entrepreneur, or the vast amount of, people that you've had on this podcast that come from so many different backgrounds, a variety of ethnicities, and everything. So it's really just, I think, connecting organically, without not all the fool and fun in place. Hey, what's up? Listen, this is who I am, and this is how I got there. And this is what you need to do at this point to do those same things. And maybe you don't do it the same exact way that I did, but here are some tips and some resources that are going to assist you along the way. I really think it's about that. And that's why I said, like, please slide in the DM if you're a business or you're a person looking to, mentor a young person, or, you just want to figure out a way that you can give back or assist collectively. Like, let me know. I would love to connect. I have plenty of young people to connect with individuals who are looking to, pour back into a young person.
And how do you break the ice with a student when, like, I'm trying to think about me when I was like 16, right? Yeah. And somebody that's my age now, 28, I might be like, okay, you still cool, right? You still you still in your 20s. So like right. You live in, so you understand me, but how do you break the ice so that person doesn't feel intimidated, or if they feel like they can be themselves, right? They don't have to come be like, hi, my name is blah, 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 yeah. Right? It's like, you can be your whole self, you can be informal, and let's get down to what we need to talk about.
Definitely. So I just say, keep it funky, like, be you. And I think my kids, they be like, you so corny, Miss Chapman. That's cool. That's me. Like, I do that. But I'm going to be the corniest. Like, I ain't stepping away from that. Like, I'm cool with that, And I think it's really about that. Sometimes most students, they only see you in this one light. So it's funny if I throw on some J's and like a little fit, or as they say, get a fit off. If I put on something real cute, they like, oh, Miss Chapman, or don't let me get my hair done or something like that. They like, oh, you da 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 da, and it that serves as a window of opportunity that, like, yeah, me and you look just alike. Like, you can attain these same things. Young lady or young man, don't feel short based on where you come from or the zip code you adhere to. It's like you can maneuver. You can be a chameleon in the room, know how to turn it on and off. And I think visually, that really is what brings it home for a student. So I would encourage people, be yourself. I mean, there's no script here. Like, there's no script with I don't believe in scripts. This is organic, you know what I mean? And when you just talking from the heart and you talking about truth and experience, it just flows. And so I would say to anybody that's looking to mentor a young person or connect with a young person, be you and share those uphill battles, because that's really what hits home for a lot of our students. They don't know oftentimes, how a person would get over something traumatic or maneuver through, maybe not being financially right, having to come home from school, grades not good, getting arrested. Like, these are real situations that if you share it with a young person, likely they're not gonna make that same mistake.
That's true. And I think a lot of times too, like, when we see people, we're like, oh, they made every perfect decision, right, to get to where we are today. Right. And a lot of times too, when we're in our careers, we're like, oh, this person never messed up. That's why they're so high up on the totem pole. But it's like, no, you have to make mistakes. You have to sometimes we get caught up in doing the wrong thing and we learn from it, right? Everything is a lesson that we're learning from, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. We're human and it's life and it's going to happen. But like you said, if you talk to the people about it, hopefully they don't make the same mistakes. Unless, yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You good. So tell me about this. How would anyone start to approach running for office? It sounds just like a hefty task.
Yeah. I would definitely say the very first thing is speak with your family and friends, because those are going to be your links through that process. You're going to need to lean on them. And develop a plan. You want to see what the territory is of the ward that you're looking to service. And based on that territory, Where are your youth population? Where is your young adult population? Where are your senior? What your demographics look like? Once you get a feel on that, you want to start looking at maybe some of the organizations and or businesses around there, and just start, conversating with people, putting your face out there, being at community events. Definitely you want to be at city council meetings, because you want to have a idea as to what's going on and what's affecting the community, and what the neighborhood is saying, the ward citizens are saying. Once you do that and you kind of have a small, because you don't completely have a handle at that point. Once you have a small handle on the demographics, once you've surveyed the community and kind of know what that looks like, you want to then maybe go to your either local city hall office, and or you could go downtown, like City of Chicago, go to the Board of Elections office, and you want to pick up a packet that serves a variety of documents in it, but it's one thick packet on how to run for office. And there are a multitude of different documents that you have to complete. Everything from your candidate petition filings to your signature. Why can't I think of the name of the signature sheets? But the signature sheets serve as a way for each person in the community to sign for your petition. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So you want to gather that, and then you want to learn, like, what are the rules, just pretty much as far as the community is concerned. Like, I'm trying to think of something offhand as far as to give you guys kind of like an example. So a particular rule, like there's a form. It's called like the affidavit candidate form, but I have to take that form outside of the packet and I have to go submit it to Markham Courthouse. So it's like rules and specifics like that you really have to pay attention to. I had to have a binder that included all of my petition signatures, all of my candidacy statement, pretty much everything that I had collected throughout the process of candidacy. And I had to bind it a specific way. I had to format it a specific way. So there are a lot of specifics in the mix of that you want to really pay attention to, the fine details that each municipality has their own specific code and the way in which they do business. So you want to definitely check, your municipality. And you may have a person that's versed in that paperwork, but I would certainly suggest finding an attorney that works, an election attorney is what it's called. Finding a local election attorney that knows the law, knows the paperwork, can let you know, things that you maybe need to edit and or rectify, correct. You want to start rallying around, community events, hosting things that are in need. So for me, I had partnered, of course, with my nonprofit Penny Up, and I hosted a resource fair. Because while I know it's a lot of resources here in the city of Harvey, I felt like people didn't have a channel or a way to like really access. They didn't really know about the things that are right here. While there are not many, there are some. And so you want to see what the need is. And I mean, just really hitting the ground. Every single day, literally, I hit 30 doors or more. And I was at those doors explaining who I was, why I was the right fit to serve as alderwoman, what made me great, and why I stood apart from the rest of the candidates. There were about 7 candidates at the time, looking to get on the ballot at the same time. That I was. Yeah, somebody said Harvey World all day. My name Duck. But you want to be abreast, because nobody wants to follow suit or in the leadership of somebody that's not abreast with what's going on with the community.
Colby, it looks like this is your business, right? This is your business. How to run for office. Hey, Colby Chapman. Colby can express it to you.
Man, y'all. I definitely, Tony the Talk, definitely attend the city meetings for sure. It's it's really important. You just want to stay very vested, and you want to link yourself with the right people throughout that process. You want to go to your local schools, your local churches. You want to be where the people are so you can advocate for yourself. I mean, who better to tell a person about you as a candidate than you? And then once you
What about being young?
Huh?
What about being young? Do you think that that affects you running for office being, like, let's say, younger than 30 years old?
You know what? I don't. The actual young man who now serves as the second ward alderman, I believe he's 23 now. And so, no, I don't think that you're too young, honestly, to do anything. You may not be as versed, but you may have the skill set. And I think it's really about marketing that message. A lot of people equate maturity with the age you are, but I know some people who are nowhere near the level of maturity that maybe they should be, and they're upwards in age. So I think it's really about sharing your message on what your plan is, what your plan of action is. It's important, of course, to have a website and all the fully functionable social media outlets so you can tap into people, and really just aligning yourselves with the right individuals. You can't go along with what somebody said about the person in the community. You yourself have to go forward and introduce and make your own make your own ideas, stir up your own thoughts over a person versus what somebody else would tell you. And I mean, that's a rule in everyday life, but that's very important in the political world, because a lot of times, unfortunately, a lot of melee, I'm going to call it, kind of tends to find its way in politics. So it's a very tricky game, but I would encourage you, don't allow anybody to tell you, oh no, you're too young or you don't know enough people, because somebody said all those things about me running in the city of Harvey. Well, because I had left to go to school, and I'm around the community, but at the time of, the then leadership, I didn't know the best way to get involved in the city. Most people probably likely know about the city of Harvey and just the different episodes we've had. So, you want to be careful too. It could also be a dangerous game, as people say, for some. You want to be, you want to move the right way. And so people are going to say a lot of things. There are going to be a ton of naysayers that say you may not live there, that you're not in it for the right reason. They haven't seen you in the community. But again, it was important that using video imagery and coupling myself with the right people in the community that could spread the message of goodness, that I did that.
What about funding?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Money, right? I think money's a huge thing too in politics. What if you don't got a lot of that?
You know what? We really were a grassroots campaign, but honestly, we were just reaching out to everybody. Hey, if you can give change, if you can give $1, $5, we really took that, that Obama thought of everybody can give something. Once again, it's not about giving a lot, it's just about giving. And nothing was too small. Help not only was on the monetary side, but if you could come lend a hand and stand at the polls, that's another thing. You're going to need a staff of people, because you need people to stand at the polls when early voting commences. As people are going to the polls, you may have 2 or 3 polls that you have to cover during early voting. And you want to catch those people, because those are voters. And so that's important that, again, you have a team of people who are down for the cause. Right, wrong, weak, strong. They got your back. But yeah, funding wise, just a melee of ways. I reached out to again, local businesses right here in the city of Harvey, and I asked them for a donation, because them donating showed me that they have belief in me. And so it then at that moment, it was more like, okay, this is a partnership. You're invested into me. You're going to allow me to, maybe hang some of my posters or some of my marketing materials in your store. So people can know about me. And so again, another bridge builder. There's a local store, in most people communities, you know those people, but you don't really know them. Like, you go in, you get your things, you out of there. And so, I started to build a lot of those platforms, locally right here with the people here, and asking for their assistance. Again, I also picked up me an extra job. I work concierge downtown at this loft for about I would say maybe about a year and a half prior to. So again, road mapping everything out. I was the pool girl and the concierge girl, but I ain't too proud to do nothing. You got to also, you can't be too proud to go for what you want. And so, because I knew that that's what I wanted to do, I worked concierge. I worked I set it up the right way for myself. I worked overnights, so I wouldn't have a ton of different packages, and pizzas pulling up. No, it was time for me to like hone in on wanting to run for alderwoman. So it worked, right? I worked on the weekends. I took all that money that I saved from there and I invested that into the campaign. So again, this was all started in 2017. Now, this all started in 2017 for something I was running for in 2019. So I had to plan it out. You know what I mean? I had to plan it out. And it wasn't like, they don't make a lot of money at the concierge, y'all. But I had to do what I had to do to get where I had to go. And that environment offered me much more. It was a bigger picture. It was, it was money. But additionally, I'm also, it's the best cake. My brother made some cake. He said, this is the best one. So, but yeah, I didn't want to do that job, but I had to do what I had to do in order to get my coins in order. So I would encourage anybody who's thinking about running, the next election is this year, 2020. We'll be voting for our next president. Hope y'all all know what that look means. Hope y'all are making the right decisions out there.
Tune in.
Right.
Vote, please.
Yeah.
Vote, please.
But on a local level, our next election will be in 2023. So locally, most municipalities, the next election will be in 2023. So if you guys are thinking about going out there, being a part of the Hey Mo, Hey Vo, hey guys. If you guys are thinking about going out there and, pursuing candidacy locally, I say go for it, because who better to change the trajectory than the person who actually lives there, is from there. You're going to need funding. You're going to need to corral your team, and you're going to need to know your area, your demographics, where your polling places are located, how you can secure those areas, and getting people registered to vote. I mean, I won't say that was a huge uphill battle, but in order to register to vote, there's a allotted time where you can go online and register to vote. But you need a state ID and or a driver's license. And so sometimes, there are these certain prohibits, and I shouldn't even call them prohibits, but because they're a necessity, but it puts a prohibition in place for a person who may want to exercise their right. So in thinking about all that, right, the median salary in Harvey is $29,344. So me knowing the community or the population of people that I was dealing with, and I don't want you guys to think like I'm like, ain't no looking down, or not saying it in that. I'm just stating the facts that that's what it is. So I know that there is a gap of my people knowing about how to go about tips, resources, and opportunities that could very well boost them economically, all the way around. So knowing that that's the type of population that I'm dealing with, it was important that I had a tablet, a cell phone, wherever I went, so I can immediately, let me register you to vote on site, or here's the business card. The marketing has to be on point. It's a business card to stay connected. We're doing a lot of phone banking, a lot of follow-ups on calls, get them Google Voice, numbers going. My aunt, hey, Sydney, my aunt was or has been in politics for a while. She's not a politician, community activist. Hey, Tish. And so she really, really guided me in my maneuvering throughout the process, and like how to, go about different things, how I should do things, how I shouldn't. So I think it's important too to have some advisement of somebody who kind of already knows that territory. Because I jumped into way uncharted territory. I jumped in with a heart, not so much like knowing everything. I just jumped in with my heart, like, I'm gonna save this community. You know what I mean? That was about like, I'm gonna do this. But yeah. and reach out. I mean, you'd be surprised. I reached out to pretty much everybody I knew at SIU. Literally everybody gave a donation, from big to small, in between. It didn't matter. Like, everybody like really, really came together. So I think all those things are important. I think it's important to get your message across to people, because people want to know why to invest into you. You know, what makes you, you know, the one to be the one. And especially for me, because I was the first woman. You know, there were no women. There were women going for the ballot, but they didn't make the ballot. So, you know, women, y'all out there, go for it. Men, go for it. Everybody go for it.
People still speaking highly about you. I love this. Colby is very thorough, and that speaks volumes in all she does.
Oh, thank you. Who said
That's
that?
facts.
Y'all the bomb.
It's VAUVEA.
Oh, yeah, that's my girl, Bo. Yes.
Okay.
You know, she was out there. We were right there together at those polls, passing stuff out, everything.
So what's your goals, Colby? What you got coming up?
Goals, man. So I'm a little bit of everywhere right now, right? I started looking into vending, you know, vending machines. Shout out to Shot Styles Barbershop, and beauty salon. They allowed me to put one of my gumball machines there. I've been looking into expanding bulk vending, and being a part of that process. Looking to ways to expand Penny Up. I would love to one day open up computer labs across the city of Chicago. You know, me and my girl Mo was talking the other day, and I was telling her, you know, while the library is an amazing resource, the unfortunate part is it's a lot of restrictions. If you don't have to sign up for a library card, which I'm not knocking the library. Shout out to all the libraries, librarians, whoever on here that go to the library. Okay, shout out to y'all. But you need a bill, you need an ID, you need all those things to go to the library. And then if you're not a citizen of that community or from that community or don't have that zip code, then you have to pay to use the services. And so, you know, I want to think of it in an engaging way. Oftentimes when we look at social service centers and when we look at resource centers, they just not hip, right? It don't got the vibe. You know, you want that Lacuna Loft, that Blue 1647, that 1891 approach. You want that, and we need more of that in the hood. Like, shout out to things like Boxville that are expanding our minds and our thought processes on ways businesses should look, like how cool and creative they are. And so that's what I want to do. My plan is to open up computer labs throughout the city and really serve as a resource for young people, for all people, but specifically for young people. You can drop in, you can get your work done, you can do all things digitally right here.
That's funny you said that, and it's not in Chicago, because in Bolingbrook we have in our library, it's called Studio 300 in the basement, and you can rent podcast equipment. They have studios, recording rooms, everything is free. And you come downstairs, and it's like they have a green screen room. You can learn how to make shirts on your own, right? Like, I feel like that should be everywhere. It's like they're teaching you skills, 3D printing, everything for free. And if you do have the opportunity to be able to do that and people know about it, I feel like a lot of young people would take advantage of that, right? It's like everything's free. All I got to do is come and be creative.
Come here, right? And so, yeah, you know, like figuring out federally funding, what does that look like, you know, as a nonprofit, how to get those things off the ground. And, you know, just constantly searching, you know, in search. Sky's the limit, you know. I mean, sky's the limit, you know, every day, especially now, you know, with a lot of time on our hands, I'm looking at so many different things, you know, my eyes are glued to the net. But, you know, I'm just searching for ways to build the brand and keep inspiring young people and really taking Penny Up to that, you know, that next level. Really want to be the youth expert, the go-to all things youth, employment, post-secondary, you know, financially getting the kids lit. You know, that's what I want this brand to represent and stand for. So,
Colby, let's do a mind meld, a whiteboard session one day.
Let's do it. Bria, like, you already know, you so cold. So that goes without saying. So I'm totally with it. I'm totally down. Yes.
And then I like to round out these lives. I think we got about like 4 minutes left, but I want you to shout out as many people or whoever is on top of your mind that's influencing you to be great. who's
Okay.
like just there for you, who you see being great?
Man, oh man, where do I start? So I want to shout out to all the healthcare workers, right? Shout out to all the essential front line people who are serving on the front lines, who are dedicating themselves to service. We could not get through this pandemic without you. So we are, and I'm myself specifically, I'm eternally grateful for all of you all. I want you all to get in tune with Fork It Up Shy. That's by Monique Gower. It's a brand new foodie blog where she's showcasing a ton of different cool eats. I want you to get in tune with High Maintenance Beauty. This young lady, Danielle Williams, has an amazing eyelash brand. I want you to get in tune with Stage and Spaces at Don's Decor. For all, that's Shatisha for Stage and Spaces. That's Don Tevia for Don's Decor. All your home decor needs. You know, I want y'all to tap in with the Justified, with Justin. Tap into his music. He got the 90s mix going. I want y'all to keep tapping in to Be Great, because she just being great in all things she does.
Thank you.
Head honcho Nathan out there in North Carolina with Top Coat. Mike preaching, a friend of mine, got to hear him preaching. He was telling me about it. So just keep shining, letting God use you to speak. Trying to think, it's so many people. It is,
and it's not limited. I know. I think that's the hard thing, right? It's like just knowing that there's people around.
Listen, y'all, I want to shout out everybody at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Y'all, some of the baddest, coldest Salukis ever. My time from 05 to 11 was overlit. It's just so many people doing so many great things. Shout out to Shakita. She was just Chicago Scholars Top 35. Shout out to Mal and Dan. I have a niece and or a nephew on the way. I'm trying to think of everybody. Shout out to Whitney, who had tapped in the yoga kickback. Shout out to Vogue, 100 Ways to Make a Difference. It's a book all dedicated to ways to give back. And the yoga kickback with Whitney is all about ways, to do yoga. They're literally teaching you, her and her sister Candace, straight from the lab. Shout out to Concrete Gold Rose. Beautiful flowers that last a year. That's Janelle Cole. Tap in.
Everybody, Colby. This is amazing. I love it.
Shout out to just everybody. Like, the circle's so cold that, sometimes, honestly, shout out to Home Wellness, Amber Odorende, and shout out to Tambra, my LS. They're making masks. They saving lives, y'all. Get in tune. OD_Amber and or at Tambino, TAMBINO. They're making masks. They're saving lives. They're beautiful masks too. They got the filters in them. They're washable. Man,
we got like I'm about to say we got a minute left, but
okay, one more. Shout out to Ashley. Okay. I can't wait to sit back in your chair. It's going down. Chrissy on my brows, polished down. Just shout the world out. Shout out to all of y'all for tuning in and being great. And I really, really appreciate it. I want to leave y'all with this, though. Whatever it is you want to do, proactively provoke your passion. You heard it first from Penny Up. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. And thank you so much for coming in on the live too, Colby, and dropping all these gems.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. I had an amazing time on here. And shout out to you, Brittany, again. This is so awesome. And I'm looking to see you just continue to blossom, girl. Do your thing and keep being positive.
Thank you. I'll save this and I'll add this to IGTV and YouTube, and I'll shoot it to you.
Okay, sound good.
All right.
See you.
All right, bye-bye.